What's up, everybody? My name is Lily Thompson, and this channel is where I'm documenting my real estate investing journey. Today, we're going to discuss 3 tips and strategies that beginners can use for getting started in real estate in 2020. I would give a shout out to all of the new subscribers, but considering this is a fairly small channel, we're all pretty much new here. But thank you guys so much for watching and liking my videos. It really does mean the world to me. And if you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, just come on and join the party. All right, let's get started. Tip number 1, don't make it all about buying a property. Yes, buying property to build passive income and grow your net worth is the end goal. But if you haven't saved up all the funds you need for a down payment, or maybe you're just not confident enough yet to make that jump and buy your first property, property management can be a great first step. Property management is difficult and can take time, but it can also be lucrative and a great starting point for beginners. Property managers are responsible for just about everything related to the property: collecting rent, managing tenants, finding tenants, dealing with those tenants, and calling the correct professionals when a repair is needed. It's not an easy job, but that's why it's needed. Many owners and landlords are tired of dealing with tenants and managing their properties, and that means they'd be willing to pass that job off to someone like you. You could feel that need for the owner while at the same time learning about real estate and getting paid. Property managers often get 50 to 80% of the first month's rent after they find and place a tenant. That means for a property that's renting for $1,000 a month, you could get $500 to $800 for placing an ad on sites like Zillow, as well as sifting through those applications and then finding and placing a tenant. From there, most property managers charge 10% a month, so for that same $1,000 property, you're looking at $100 a month. I know that may not sound like much, but if you get a few properties in your portfolio, that monthly fee will start to add up and you could be sitting pretty. Another benefit of starting out as a property manager is that you will build skills and make connections that will be so useful once you start investing in your own property. For example, you'll learn how to manage tenants as well as keep the financials of a rental property organized. You'll also start to build up the team of people around you that will help to support the property. People like a handyman, a licensed plumber, and electrician, as well as other people that will be crucial to your success. So go on Zillow and advertise yourself to landlords that have their properties up for rent. The worst they could say is no. Now, different states do have different licensing requirements. Some states have absolutely no requirement, so you can actually start this today. Other states may require you get a specific property manager's license, and some states will require a broker's license, which does admittedly make this strategy a bit tougher. You can find a link in the description that will give you the specifics for your state and exactly what type of licensing you'll need. Tip number 2, prepare yourself. Even if you're not ready to purchase a property today, getting prepared can ensure that whenever you do come across that perfect deal, you're ready to jump on it. There's 2 things that I recommend you start doing right now if you haven't already. Number 1, get pre-approved. And number 2, start to get your credit in order. Let's talk about the pre-approval first. Have you ever wondered how expensive of a property you could afford? That's exactly what the pre-approval letter will tell you. Whether it's a $100,000 property, a $500,000 property, whatever it is, you'll know exactly. In that way, you can really specify the properties that you're looking at, and you don't just have to go around kicking tires. In this example letter, you can see that this person is approved for a $180,500 home using an FHA loan, and this LTV means loan to value. So how much money is being loaned versus how much the house is actually worth. The 96.5% LTV means that this person is putting 3.5% down themselves and actually getting 96.5% of the value of the home loaned to them, and therefore the actual loan amount is $174,182. Some realtors or sellers may even reject your offer if you don't send a pre-approval letter like this along with it, as this letter is really one of the ways that you can show you're serious about purchasing the property. In order to get a pre-approval letter, you can either call your lender or go to their website. And if you don't have a lender yet, I recommend you look at small local banks rather than the big banks that are national brands. This is for 2 reasons. Many of those big banks aren't actually mortgage loan specialists. Their real thing is that they want to have credit, debit, and investment accounts. And so they won't have home loans programs that are as flexible or as personalized to you as many of the smaller banks are. The second reason is that in response to the economic downturn, many of these larger national banks are now requiring home buyers to have higher income levels as well as higher credit scores, whereas your local bank may still be able to work with you. Whenever you do reach out to your loan officer, be prepared because they're going to ask you for a lot of paperwork. They'll need things like a copy of your driver's license or your passport, as well as your most recent 2-month bank statements, federal tax returns, W-2 forms, as well as your most recent pay stub. Another thing to get in order if you're at all interested in purchasing real estate is your credit. If you're looking for a home that you'll live in for at least a year, you can use an FHA or a VA loan to purchase a 1 to 4 unit property. As long as you have a credit score over 580, you can put 3.5% down, and if you have a credit score between 500 and 579, it will require a 10% down payment, and they may also require you to have a little bit of extra cash in the bank in the form of reserves. If you're looking to use a conventional loan to purchase a property you don't plan to live in, you're looking at 20 to 25% down and a minimum credit score of 620. It's also important to remember that for some loan products, your credit score and your interest rate are on a sliding scale. So that means even if you qualify, but you're towards the low end of the credit score, you're going to have a higher interest rate. So if you're able to bring that credit score up, you'll be saving yourself some money in the long run by bringing your interest rate down. If you need to increase your credit, remember that there are 5 categories that make up your score. Your payment history accounts for 35% of your score, amounts owed 30%, length of credit history is 15%, and then you'll have new credit and your credit mix as 10% each. I'll do another video on exactly how you can increase your credit score, but for this video, let's focus on that payment history. It's the biggest factor that determines your credit score, so if you're behind on any payments, it's the first thing you're going to want to address before you apply for that pre-approval letter. One way you can address it, if you have the money, is just to pay off those old debts. If you don't have the money, the second thing you can do is apply for a deferral or a forbearance. With so many people out of work at the moment and unable to pay their debts, many banks are offering programs that will allow you to either pause your payments or have your fees lowered. But the most important thing is that once you apply and are approved for a forbearance, missed payments will no longer show up on your credit report, which will prevent you from taking a hit in that payment history category. Tip number 3, learn, learn, learn. Even if you're not ready just yet to purchase a property, you'll only get more and more confident the more you learn. This is exactly what happened to me. One thing you can start doing right now is analyzing deals. And I definitely recommend you look into house hacking deals specifically. I've talked about house hacking before, but 2020's economic downturn means that there has almost never been a time where house hacking was a more useful strategy. If you're able to use some of the things we just talked about to purchase a duplex, triplex, or a fourplex, or even just a single family house where you're willing to rent out the other bedrooms, you could do 2 crucial things. First, you could lower your living expenses, and second, you could get your first investment property. If you're not familiar with what house hacking is, it's a strategy where you buy a property that will be your home, but will also be an investment. With an FHA or a VA loan, you can purchase a 1 to 4 unit property, which means you can live in one of those units and rent out the others. Let's imagine that you found a property like this one in Columbus, Ohio. It's a duplex with 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom on each side, and it's for sale for just under $200,000. If you were to put 3.5% down at a 4% interest rate, your monthly payment or your PITI would be around $1,350. If you want to see a video I did on how to find properties like these, as well as where I walk you step by step on how to find the numbers and analyze the deal, I'll be sure to link them in the description below. But for now, let's compare this mortgage amount with what you might be paying for rent in the same apartment. A quick rental search on Zillow showed me that 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartments in this area go from anywhere between $800 and $1,000 a month. So yes, we are comparing a $1,350 mortgage with a $1,000 rental, but the beauty of house hacking is that you have 2 units. And so you can live in one of those units while renting out the other one for, let's say, $1,000. So while your tenant is paying you $1,000 for their unit, you've got $350 left to pay to your mortgage, and let's say another $350 to $400 that you're going to set aside for expenses and future repairs. So if you're able to save up that 3.5% for your down payment, which would be $7,000 to $8,000 for this particular property, you could get into an investment property as well as lower your living expenses. And you only have to live in that house for a year. So in 12 months, you could move out, rent out that other unit, and have 2 units bring you $1,000 a month. That's not bad for 3.5% down. There's also a ton of great information out there in the form of podcasts, books, and online forums. Earn Your Leisure covers all things business and money, and they have super interesting guests who give deep dive insights into their strategies and mindset. Smart Passive Income by Pat Flynn is not only about real estate investing, but it's one of the first podcasts I listened to that introduced me to the concept of passive income and how to generate it. The Bigger Pockets podcast is one of the most popular real estate investing podcasts out there, and they have weekly interviews with investors from all different experience levels. And finally, The Remote Real Estate Investor is specifically for those who are interested in investing out of state. Books. Although Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of the most recommended real estate investing books out there, I'm actually not going to recommend it in this video. Instead, I recommend you read The Richest Man in Babylon. It's a fable set over 4,000 years ago in ancient Babylon, and I think it teaches all of the lessons and more that Rich Dad Poor Dad does, and it's actually a pretty quick and fun read. The ABCs of Real Estate Investing by Ken McElroy. This is a great book to make sure that you have a solid real estate investing foundation, and Ken McElroy is one of the most sought after minds in real estate. You can find links to both of these books as well as the podcast in the description below. I would also say that everyone should visit the free Bigger Pockets real estate investing forums. There you can read and ask questions, and hundreds of beginners and experts alike are having conversations about their opinions and strategies on real estate investing in real time. And if you have a question, there's almost always someone who can answer for you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out other videos I've done like this one, where you can see exactly how I find and analyze properties. I post videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. Thank you guys for watching. And cut.